Hi, Raven here. I'm recording in my car today because my family's all asleep. We were up really late last night. I don't want to wake anybody up. I wanted to pop on and do my quick review of Spider-Man No Way Home, which I finally saw. Um, so first of all, I should tell you, I am a Marvel fan. I did read comics when I was younger, but comic books are not my favorite medium. I'd rather just read a real book. Um, but Thor has been a favorite of mine since I was about 5 when I discovered comic books. Thor and Wonder Woman were it. Um, but when the Marvel Universe came out with the movies, I am an Iron Man. I am Team Iron Man 100%. And I think it's because I enjoy um, watching somebody who is not necessarily selfless by nature, not necessarily good by nature, overcome that part of themselves and become something more than what they were. And for Iron Man, for Tony Stark, that was a struggle. And I enjoyed watching that struggle and seeing him be something better than he was, because I think that's what all of us want to do in life, is we want to be something better than what we are. We want to overcome the faults that we have, and we want to change those things that we don't like about ourselves and become something better than what we were. And I really enjoyed watching Tony struggle. It's why I like Marvel heroes. I tend to like Marvel heroes more than DC heroes. DC heroes tend to be more inherently good, where, well, I think everybody's inherently good, but they tend to be more inherently selfless and heroic, where the Marvel characters are a lot more conflicted. So that's a really weird introduction for a Spider-Man No Way Home review, but um, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the newest version of Spider-Man, with the Tom Holland version, is I've really enjoyed the way that they're integrating Tony's influence on him. Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, is more selfless than Iron Man, than Tony Stark to begin with. But he also really idolizes Tony, and I think it's kind of neat to see the interaction of the influence that Tony has on Peter. Anyway, that's really weird. But I also did really enjoy Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man a lot too. So I told you guys I like everything. So um, No Way Home. Overall, I liked it. Not as good as the other two Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and the MCU movies. Um, my biggest complaints were some of the I think the plot itself was sloppier. It didn't feel as neatly tied up so that it made a little bit more sense. And I have no problem like suspending reality to engage myself in any fake universe. I have no problem suspending my reality and doing that. And I'm usually fairly forgiving, and I still am. Like I said, I still liked this movie. There are some spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen No Way Home, please don't watch from here on. Um, so spoilers, you've been warned. Turn it off now if you care to avoid them. Um, some of my complaints, and they kind of bothered me after the movie was over. Um, my complaints were okay, so the spell, which magic is always kind of weirdly defined anyway, but the spell said that anybody from another universe who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man was coming through. So Norman Osborn came through. Octavius even said, Norman, you died several years ago. So it didn't matter in the timeline then, right? As long as they knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, then they should have been coming back, right? So, am I misremembering? Did Gwen Stacy not know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man? Because why didn't Gwen come back? Maybe I'm misremembering that. Maybe I should check that. Because that bothered me last time. I'm like, wouldn't Gwen have come back from Garfield's Spider-Man? But now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I don't know. Um, And if Peter came through, and if Tobey Maguire's Peter came through, why didn't MJ come too? I'm really confused by that. Like, why was it only some people? Like, why didn't other people who had already died but who knew his identity, why didn't they come through? I guess that confused me a little bit. Um, and then, it was stuff like that that was confusing to the plot. And then, like, I'm sorry, but Peter, why are you going to go to school when you've just been outed as Spider-Man? Why are you going to try even attempt to go to high school? That made no sense to me. I'm like, hey, it's 2021, 2022. I don't even know what year it's supposed to be in the movie, but why don't you just go to online school for real? Come on. That made no sense to me. You knew it was going to be a nightmare to try to go to school, but yeah, you went anyway. And then, okay, I get that we didn't have that tragic Uncle Ben moment from the Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but we had the tragic Tony Stark moment, right? So it kind of Tony was sort of like an uncle, so I think that kind of replaced that. So we really didn't need a tragic Uncle Ben moment. I love Marissa Tomei. I don't want to see her die in anything she's in. I've always loved her as an actress for years. She's one of those actresses that doesn't seem to be in a lot of things, but every time I see her, I love her. Um, so why did we need to kill Aunt May? Because we didn't need that tragic Uncle Ben moment. And surprisingly, I cried everything, and I didn't cry when Aunt May died because I was just mad. Um, but also, um, where was I going with that? We didn't need to kill Aunt May. Um, but that also pissed me off because, okay, Peter, you're like, oh, MJ, oh, Ned, get out of here. I have to know that you're safe. But you willingly risk your Aunt May? I don't get it. Like, you never said, Aunt May, get out of here. I need to have you safe. Aunt May, okay, right before you said, Aunt May, run, right? But why didn't you get her out of there at the same time? Why did you let her stay with you? That made no sense to me. I'm like, that just, so you cared about her less, but somehow more. I don't know. If it were me, I would have been like, all of you leave. I don't want any of you hurt. Aunt May, Ned, MJ, all of you just go away. But he didn't do that. So I get it. It was for the story. But those were the things that bothered me. Things that I really liked. Peter trying to make things better made things worse. That is exactly a Tony Stark move, and that is exactly Tony Stark's influence on him. I loved that. I loved that Octavius got a redemption. Well, all of them did really, but especially Octavius. I loved that he was able to come back and be the good guy that he always was before the neurotech kind of took over his brain. So I really liked that. I was hoping a little bit better redemption for Sandman too, because I always felt like he was a guy that kind of just fell into the stuff. I would have been fine to see Lizard or Electro die. I mean, that's horrible. I shouldn't want anyone to die, but they're fake, right? They're not real people. But I mean, ultimately, I guess I'm glad that Peter was able to do what he set out to do, but he made it worse in trying to make it better. And I did like that because it just felt so Tony Stark influenced. That's exactly what Tony did with Ultron, So I enjoyed that. And I loved Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire together. And I loved all three of them together, but I especially loved Andrew Garfield in this. I thought he was so great in this because he was more the humorous kind of Spider-Man in his movies, and he really had that feel. I loved it. He was in the background, and like when Ned said, I won't turn evil and try to kill you, and he's like thumbs up in the background. I thought that was great too. I loved all the little Easter eggs, all the little fan service kind of things that they did. Really, 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 really fun. So even though there were some things that bothered me about it, whatever, it was still a great movie. I still loved it. I'm still probably going to buy it. I've said since Endgame, I don't know if I'm gonna buy too many more Marvel movies because killing Iron Man, I mean, yes, Iron Man needed to die because that was the only way to end his character arc. And I think it was 100% appropriate and a good choice. But MCU just doesn't feel the same without Iron Man, without Tony. So I wasn't sure with these movies afterwards if I would enjoy them like I did before, but I did enjoy this one, and I probably would buy this one. I probably will buy this one. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna buy it because I did enjoy it a lot, and the whole time it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I was just glued to the movie. So I was super invested in it. So overall, I loved it. Good movie. Definitely had some things that I would change if I were doing it, but I'm not a movie director and whatever. Um, they stayed true to the characters, which I enjoyed, and they didn't deviate from like the source material. I don't like it when a lot of these newer movies are really. I'm not opposed to changing things. I just don't want it to be changed because of some artificial reason. Like I wanted to feel organic into the story, and all of this was great. Um, I've said I really love Zendaya's MJ. Love it. So um, still loved her here. So overall, this is what, an 11-minute video. Sorry guys, I liked Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. If you haven't seen it yet, why did you watch this? Because you just got a ton of spoilers. Have a great day. I've got to go run some errands. Bye.